We've now got Ameed. He's had an interesting morning. He's been taking care of his 3-year-old unexpectedly because of protests. I don't know why people are protesting against him taking care of his 3-year-old, but I'll let Ameed explain that. So what we're going to do with Guillaume, he was going to be presenting on the death of 2FA. He's going to be presenting tomorrow morning now. So that gives us the time. So Ameed, because he's got a keynote, can give his full presentation. So Ameed, over to you.
Hey everybody, thanks Alan, thanks for your flexibility, and I apologize for making you reschedule so many times. Nice to meet you everybody. I'll be looking forward to the presentation, and if you guys have any questions, please feel free to jump in and ask. Can you hear me, you guys?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I'll be getting started. So today I'll be sharing how TelecomsXChange platform as a service is helping to transform the communication service providers wholesale business using our technology. So the agenda will be as follows. We'll start with a success story. We'll talk about Talent's case study. Then we'll talk about the TCXC platform overview, a little intro, a little bit about the technology stack we're using and the unique value proposition that we're providing to CSPs. We'll talk a little bit about CPaaS growth and why it needs modern connectivity solutions to complement it, and a sneak peek into the company's future roadmap, and we'll end up with a call to action. So one of the recent success stories we had was with Talent, which is an international arm of Telkom Indonesia, the biggest telco company in Indonesia, serving more than 200 million customers. So what this company needed to do is basically to digitize their wholesale voice, SMS, and numbers business into one platform and make it available self-service for both customers and suppliers who are doing business with them on all these different areas. Through the partnership we had with them, Talent were able to streamline their operations and enhance their customer experience. Before that, it was pretty much, components were all over the place, or you have this SMS division, you have the voice division, and then you have your numbers division, different contracts, different platforms and UIs, and now it's been unified. Their self-service platform is called New Traffics. It has won multiple awards so far in the wholesale market. With this platform, they were not only able to scale their business, but also increase their revenue and cash flows. Along the way, they were able to build an open carrier community, a transparent marketplace, and have successfully completed over 1 billion transactions to date. After a couple of years, on a year-to-year contract basis, Talent recognized the value of what's happening and decided to deepen it into a strategic 10-year partnership. And what's important about this is not to brag about that, it's to show that there is something valuable there for someone of that size. So let's talk about TCXC platform as a service. So originally we started out as a cloud exchange for voice, SMS, and numbers, serving prepaid customers in the wholesale sector. Anybody who needed connectivity really fast, they wanted to interconnect with one another, they were able to just top up one wallet and interconnect with hundreds of carriers and start utilizing immediately with a single contract. So after that, we decided to pivot into going back to our roots and become a 100% software company and focus on providing our platform as a service to customers. And in 2020, that's when we started out pushing TelecomsXChange platform as a service. And the way we're doing it today is by providing a source-free software platform to assist these telecom carriers in modernizing and streamlining their wholesale business operations. And it can basically be set up either with existing, on the edge before their existing legacy network, their SPCs, their SMSCs, and just provide one unified platform for all their wholesale interactions with their customers and suppliers. Or it can be a standalone, not rely because it has some SPC components and SMSC components in it, so it can also act as a standalone system. And what we mean by source-free is it's not yet or not at the moment fully publicly open source, but it is open source to carriers that we partner with because we believe they need to own they need to have access to this critical mission component of their business. And what we mean by source-free is they have non-binary code 24/7 available in deployed on their machines. At the same time, they also have access to our GitHub repository where every discussion and everything is going on. So it's like a smaller open source community just for partners. And what basically TCXC Pass enables is for them to consolidate their voice, SMS, and numbers into a single digital platform. Of course, it's white labeled, and it can be customized as per their needs. And through automation of APIs, it allows for partners and customers to not only do things the traditional way through a GUI or through emails and stuff like that, but also to make it all programmatic and automate the whole thing from interconnections, carrier relations, trouble ticketing, the whole thing from A to Z can be all scripted, right, and automated. And with this API readiness for all the wholesale functionality, it unlocks innovation in the wholesale sector, which we believe has been very, very low in the past years due to off-the-shelf proprietary closed-source software that's not been, able to do much with, expanding it or changing it until very recently that started to change. So a little bit about our stack. We have our messaging component, which contains our Golang-based SMPP load balancer, SMPP bind balancer, and upstream proxies that are responsible for doing the communication with the AAA in real time. And then we have the API component that's kind of optional for those who want to expose HTTP SMS to the customers. And then you have the access control and billing, which is TCXC's unified authentication, authorization, and accounting. That layer is highly customizable, and it talks with all the voice, SMS, and numbers, and everything else in between is all talking to the same AAA layer, which makes it possible to have a single wallet for multiple services. Then you have the TCXC E164 to E212 mapping table, which basically allows kind of like it's the bridge between the SMS industry and the voice industry in terms of rating and other functionalities as well. And then we have the standardizing formats for all the carrier price lists, which everything comes in different formats, but it goes out in one single format, either by CSV files or to the customers, or through API and JSON format for those who like to pull all these hundreds of carriers' rates in a single format and process them into their routing and billing systems. The voice stack is very simple. It contains a SIP proxy and multiple SIP back-to-back user agents, which are talking to that AAA layer as well. Then we have the API component, which is basically API enabling everything in the system. So any carrier that deploys this, everything that's uploaded through UI or email through different formats is automatically being API enabled on the fly. And then you have the a self-service portal for both customers and suppliers that enables them to sign up, authorize their IPs, recharge their account, and start interconnecting in a few seconds with any available carrier on the system. So it could be a single MNO that's promoting only their routes, or it could be a marketplace with hundreds or thousands of CSPs interconnected on the same hub. The self-service portal is split into three: buyers, the ones who are originating the traffic; sellers, the carriers who are terminating the traffic; and then the administration for the operator who's administrating the whole system. As for third-party integrations, we have many, but I have highlighted here a few that's I believe they're important. So DocuSign, when we say digitizing wholesale, it means you need to digitize also contracts. From sign up to settlement, everything needs to be digitized. And the DocuSign plays a role in as soon as somebody signs up, the DocuSign is being sent to them. As soon as that's signed, the account creation is triggered and things like that. Grafana for the network operation center to monitor everything in the system. We do have some already some integrations ready to go with Grafana, some panels that monitor everything from voice, SMS, and numbers, and also some fraud analysis and AAA attacks and things like that is all monitored through Grafana. For CPaaS, we have some integration with Jambo's open source CPaaS platform. On the commercial side, we do have integration with Vonage API, for example, for integrating it into the numbers market view, where we can pull their available numbers into the platform for complete automation on purchasing and releasing numbers and things like that. Of course, it's not limited only to Vonage, but this is like one of the you can add to your existing numbers. If you don't have global coverage, you can add Vonage, for example, for that. WhatsApp for notifications, like OTPs and stuff like that. When you're logging to the system, or when you're notifying your customers about certain things. RESCOM, open source platform. It's no longer there, unfortunately, publicly, but there are many different flavors of RESCOM. We're already compatible with RESCOM. We've done a lot of work with back in the day with Telestacks to do a tight integration with that. So it's 100% compatible, and it works nicely with that. If you're planning to add the CPaaS layer to your wholesale digitization, it works nicely with that. If you're also using something like Jambo's for this, it also works seamlessly with that. Plus Slack and other integrations for real-time notifications. Okay, this is an interesting topic. I think we believe that CPaaS growth is actually dependent on better connectivity solutions. So we think that for CPaaS to grow into areas where there's so much potential in CPaaS use cases or programmable communication use cases, but the lack of connectivity, like two-way SMS-enabled numbers or two-way voice numbers in these countries, is slowing down that growth. So another problem that we've seen is many carriers have numbers, but they don't have an API interface to those numbers for real-time provisioning and some other regulatory complexities, right? So, however, one of the major things that we notice is actually having a digital platform for this to on the MNO side to enable real-time, searching, buying, and releasing numbers, and meeting the regulatory compliance, being compliant with their verification process or KYC process. So lack of these tools is slowing down CPaaS growth in many countries with considerable potential for growth. So that's why we think that the more digitization that happens on wholesale carrier side or on MNO side will play a great role in expanding the growth of CPaaS or accelerating the growth of CPaaS in different areas around the world. So we're almost finishing up here. A sneak peek into what we're working on next. So one of the important things, of course, is AI. The first thing we're doing with that is providing AI-powered data-driven routing strategies for voice and SMS-based on price, quality, quality of service, reviews, and ratings. So remember, all the things that we do is API enabled, so the rates, statistics, everything is already available through a single API call. So what that does is basically making it very simple for adding AI into the mix, because everything is already exposed through APIs, and that makes it very simple. And it's all unified as well, so you don't have to have half of the story. You have the full context of everything that's going on. And the second point is leveraging generative AI based on large telco data. So since all the signaling is going through the TCXC platform as a service, then the data set is always growing there, and it's accessible through API. So we're able to provide a chat GPT-like experience for everyone in the team in the telcos team to chat with their big data, things like the rates, the CDRs, the logs, finding opportunities, finding patterns, forecasting things. So it's just one prompt away, and we do have some demos in the lab about this. It's really cool, and it's really valuable. And the second point is, or the second main item here is Internet of Things. IoT, we're integrating MQTT to our signal stack so that you have a simplified IoT device provisioning, billing, and management through the same platform as well. We're not talking about eSIMs or data yet. We're looking for partners on that, on how to achieve it, because we don't have access to such networks for completing that part. But we're working with some partners to figure that part out. But in terms of IoT and AAA, like providing the actual CDRs for IoT, MJAM and monetizing that and all this is something that we've completed, and we're integrating it soon into production systems. Last is postpaid one-to-one, meaning an MNO deploying our solution can provide postpaid to only to their services, to their routes, or postpaid and one-to-many postpaid, and that's complex in terms of in a market view, in a marketplace environment where you have many different carriers. Hundreds of them are deciding to, each one is deciding to give different credit limits to different buyers in real time, and you're performing AAA on the SIP and SMPP level for that to make sure that it meets the business rules. We're working on that to provide a fully advanced postpaid one-to-one and one-to-many. That's what we're working on, and hopefully we'll finish up in the near future. So what we're looking for at the moment is both partnering with CSPs directly and also partnering with system integrators and solution providers in different countries who are working with CSPs directly in order to help complete the mission, which is digitizing and API enabling every MNO out there, so we can focus on whole innovative use cases instead of keep doing the traditional wholesale, wasting the time on traditional wholesale business activities like emailing rates and doing things like that. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for your time and for listening.
Excellent, thank you so much, Ameed. Do we have any questions for Ameed? The thing I like in terms of what he's built is most of it is open source. So telcos keep talking about their techco vision, yet their operations company as well. Here you go. There's the technology. You can basically take it, as is, and run it yourself, and be a techco, at least on the wholesale side. Or there's no reason why Ameed can't run it on your behalf. So it's, I think, a very interesting segment that does fundamentally change the economics and rejuvenates a ridiculously tired old industry. You mentioned it, but it just need to be, the carrier relations, which sounds a very complex and sophisticated job, means emailing lots of people Excel spreadsheets. It's 2023, and they're exchanging their pricing and all the volumes and all the complexities that happen via Excel spreadsheets. And you'll find in a lot of these aggregators, there's some poor guy who's done nothing else in his whole work life than managing Excel spreadsheets. And he, and also has built up a lot of relationships. So I'm maligning his job, but that really should have become a simple ChatGPT question in terms of what are the rates we have available to this destination. But anyway, Ameed, well done on that. Matthew.
Yeah. Thank you, Alan. Ameed, nice to meet you. Let me try and see if I can stand.
There you go.
Here we are, in front of the camera. Cool. Listen, great presentation and a great explanation of the wholesale sort of state of play. Well, I'm curious about one thing, because obviously IoT is a lot closer to what I'm involved in, and I'm just struggling to understand. So could you just maybe give it a little bit of extra context as to sort of why TCXC is getting into, adding something which is today found as pretty commodity, and adding MQTT. I'm trying to understand how that fits, because it seems almost like a spare wheel on your car, number one. And number two, if not MQTT, why not lightweight M2M? Because I can see that being a lot more interesting in the wholesale space, because that is where there are high volume, small devices, think electricity meters, water meters, gas meters. And that is something which, again, fits a wholesale market very well, but it's high volume, low margin stuff. I think the MQTT thing, I'm struggling to see a generic case. Maybe you have something to share.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, so we wanted to, to really to start with something simple there. We got some, the reason we wanted to add that to the stack is because we really develop features based on what's coming from our partners, like what we see, what's the demand, what's happening, and we see a lot of enterprise use cases, a lot of different, like for example, WhatsApp right now is becoming a mandatory integration for wholesale. I mean, that's crazy, for me. It sounds crazy, but yeah, like operators they want to resell WhatsApp to wholesalers. And so the way we start out with developing or introducing a new channel or something to our stack is, but it usually comes from the customer saying we need this. And the first layer for us was, okay, we need to have to have identity management and basic M2M communication, tracking, CDR generation, things like that. And from what we saw, like at the initial phase, there were multiple different other protocols and things to add, but wanted to keep it simple with something that's popular among developers to get started and things like that. And we asked our partners, what do you think is we should go with first, because we don't want to go in with adding everything from day one. IoT is obviously new to us. I wanted to break it down into pieces and start simple, and they voted for MQTT as a start, as it's available or popular among both open source community and also among enterprise use cases. So they wanted to go with that. So no other real reason for not choosing something else at this time. But we're still learning. I'll be interested to learn more about what you shared and look into it deeper. Yeah, I hope that answers.
That's excellent. Thank you, Ameed. Any other questions?
So for the last 20 years, I've been working in telecom, and for this whole 20 years, the problem of rate management is always an issue, and people are spending their whole days working with Excel spreadsheets and programming macros, and we've been programming some tools to automate this. Have there been an attempt to create some standardized format for rate exchange? And if it was, why it failed, why nobody knows about it?
Agreed. One of those mysteries. And the thing is, on that, even if you ask carriers, do you want to standardize? No one will really come in and say, yeah, we have this problem, we should do it. And we don't actually ask them. We say, whether you're uploading the rates to the system or you're emailing the rates in, we work with whatever you're bringing us, and basically we standardize it. So without, we're not even asking them for their opinion on it. We know that a lot of people will find it valuable, and we're doing the extra mile there. But till this day, they don't see it as a problem. Yeah.
Because somebody else deals with it for them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's great. Again, Ameed, thank you so much for excellent presentation. I'm glad we were able to make it today. Okay, a round of applause again for Ameed.
Have a good one, guys.